Do you remember the very first episode of Speaking Geek where I taught you to say plot twist when things don't quite work out the way you expect? This week has been full of so many plot twists that I actually had to change my contacts because they were so covered in salt from crying that I figured, we're good, right? No, I just recorded this entire broadcast and it's gone. My computer ate it or something. I know tricks. No tricks are working. So plot twist, it can only mean that this version will be even better, right? Hi everybody, this is Jennifer O'Toole. Welcome to episode 11 of Speaking Geek, Typical in Translation. We are building off of last week where we were talking about talking to ourselves and how there's a big difference between pride and dignity. And I'm going to ask you to go back. If you haven't listened to that episode, please don't start with this one. Go back and listen. It's really important because I think a lot of us spend so much time being our own worst enemies in ways that we don't even realize. But, you got to put the A before the B or the 1 before the 2 in order to get where we need to go. So you got to go back and listen to episode 10 and then we're good for 11. Understand the difference between dignity and pride and how oftentimes we substitute one for the other, and which isn't good. And I'm talking to you right now as someone who has found both, or has found the dignity card a little bit challenging this week. So, I'm right there with you, people. I promise this is not a preach from on high. Not at all. If I ever sound that way, it's probably just because I'm wearing really tall shoes, and that's about all I can get. So, okay, one of the things I told you last week was that, that not too many of us like the idea of bullies, but that if we were to put a little recorder in our heads, that we'd find that we are pretty much our own worst bullies. Then when we listen to the voices in our head, and I'm not talking actual voices, but right, those feelings, that thought that you just can't get away from, and that we assume and take as absolute gospel truth. I mean, the sun is a star, the sky is blue, and I don't belong here. I don't belong anywhere, and nobody's ever going to love me, and I'm going to make anybody who does love me run away, and I'm always going to be left out, and blah, 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 whatever it is, your thing, okay? Could be multiple, but there are things that are born in us, or bred in us, rather, in our really early years, and it takes effort to learn to change them, but we can. In Secret Book of Social Rules, which again, I don't care how old you are, because it says the Asperger's Secret Book of Social Rules for Teens and Tweens on the syndrome, on the spectrum. I'm going to tell you right now, again, I wrote this for myself at 35. So that is why at least a third of the readership are adults, or at least 20-somethings, 30-somethings. And that is why I won Book of the Year. It is not because I am so fabulous. It is because these are things that more people than just me apparently needed to know, which is really good, because when I wrote it, literally, the first thing I wanted to know was, do you think anybody will read this? 30,000 copies later, apparently I ain't the only one, which makes me feel really good. So go over to asperkids.com and get yourself a copy if you don't have that. I mean, if you're a chick, get that and Sisterhood, at least. Okay. And there's downloads there. I'm telling you this because I want to help you. So I promise you, the piddly pence that I get off of it has nothing to do with this. I'm doing this for, because it's my life too. Right? So, and it seems to make a lot more sense that somebody is talking with us than at us. So anyway, back to that whole, talking to ourselves thing. I had asked you at the end of last week to come up with a hot topic, a hot event, a moment, a trigger moment that made you react very strongly, had a really strong emotional reaction, and then probably actual reaction afterwards. And that reaction could have been really obvious because it was kind of out. It could have been really obvious because it was a withdrawal, or it could have been not so obvious, but simply a checking in your head going, yep, see, I knew it, confirming your fears. Because I think once we're all walking around with these schemas, these ideas, these absolute truths in our minds, which aren't, we work really hard every day, either to and it's both usually, prove them wrong, but that doesn't last very long, or to prove them right. Because then, if nothing else, we know something for sure, even if it's something that takes us down and cuts us down at our heart and isn't even true. So, you got your hot moment. I've got mine. And I have somebody that I care about a lot this week that I've been talking to who has something in his life that happened and his thought afterwards. And we need to talk about what is your thought that happens afterwards. So usually will trigger sort of an automatic thought. His was, I am stupid. And then the feeling that came from that is, I feel unwanted. Okay. I feel left out. I feel different. I feel other. So first you have to consider what's the difference between a thought and a feeling. A lot of us say, I feel like, I feel that, and we think we're being all like, oh, look at how in touch with myself I am. No. That's an opinion. That's a thought. I feel like, I feel that precedes a thought. Thoughts are good. Thoughts are important. In the Secret Book of Social Rules, that's why I mentioned it before, I spend a good long time, more than I can spend here, talking about how one of the first things I noticed when I started watching that Aspie, or rather the like non-Aspie, the rest of the human spectrum thing, is like, okay, I noticed, hey, they work in a cycle. Think, then they feel, then they do. And depending upon what they think about you or us, and then feel about us or you, then that's how they will behave towards us. If we want a certain behavior at the end, then we have to think, okay, what do they have to feel before that to do that? What do they have to think before that to feel that? What can I do now to make them think that? In other words, we start to take some control over the world. That's a good thing. But here we're actually kind of doing it to ourselves. So we're saying, here's the do, here's the action that happened. What's the thought? All right, your thought might be, in his case, he had a video game that he had he was trying to be very generous, and he and his family were at a like a family lodge kind of thing, and there's a girl there who he said, would you like to play my iPad and play some Minecraft on it, because she didn't have any friends there or any family there, and she played his, and apparently his sister's, who is older. And he said to me later, you know, she ruined all of my worlds. She like destroyed all of my buildings that I had worked so hard at. And then when she went over to my sister's, she kept asking to try to help him, try to make it better. And from this, he walked away with a confirmation of what he already feels and interprets from the rest of the world, which is, I'm no good, I'm unwanted, right? So it's the thought, I'm not liked. I am not welcome here. I get the shaft when other people get the praise. Feeling, I'm no good, I don't belong. Yeah, I'm unwanted, unloved, unlovable. Same thing happens, he said, and we talked a little bit more, when he feels something is difficult. His instant go-to is, okay, this is challenging, and the reason, therefore, the thought is, it's challenging because I'm stupid. And so, therefore, the feeling, I am unworthy. I don't belong. I'm no good. Everyone's better. I'm less. Not surprisingly, in both of those situations, can you see where he would just kind of want to withdraw? And you know what? That's what has started happening to him in such a way that he is not able to kind of participate in his daily life right now. And so one of the ways that he and I are working through this is actually one of the ways that I am working through some stuff in my life. And that's why I prepped you. You got your hotspot from last week. Here's how it was, nothing but the facts, ma'am. Event with no interpretation, no anything. Okay. And then you say, here's what I thought. I thought blah. In his case, I thought she likes my sister better than me. I thought no one is nice to me. I thought I'm unable to do what everyone else can do. I thought I'm so stupid. Mine this week have been, I'm too difficult. I'm an illusion. I will make you love me, and I will make you hate me. all of those things, right? And then what's the feeling you take away? Well, for me, from those, it's I will never feel safe. I feel unsafe. I feel lonely. I feel lonely and sad and a bit hopeless in that sense. And what's interesting, though, is in talking to this person that I care very much about, and he was, telling me these scenarios, I said, what if in that scenario, let's go back to the one with the girl who played your stuff and ruined it and then, helped your sister. What if, just throw out other possibilities. Let's come up with any other possibility, anything. What if she really wants to be liked by your older sister because that feels cool? So she thinks, so it's, maybe the explanation is she wants to be liked and she thinks it's impressive to put you down. Or maybe it's that she misinterpreted something else you did at a different time and thought you didn't like her. We went through we came up with 5, 6, 7 different, some of them were silly, she had bad breath that day and she didn't want to be close. I mean, silly, it doesn't matter. It's okay. In brainstorming, sometimes weird is good. But as we're going through it, he goes, what, actually, she actually did it to my other brother too. Oh, this had not occurred to him at all when he originally told the story. So I said, wait a second. So this girl wasn't just doing something to you. So it wasn't just you versus how she treats somebody else, just you. She actually did the same thing to you and somebody else. And it was the one other person that she treated differently. And he said, yeah. So I said, okay, then possibly a thought is, I think this person doesn't like boys, doesn't understand what kindness is trying to impress my sister, who won't be impressed by her brothers being upset. Any of those things, right? Or I think it's possible this girl has been treated not so nicely herself, if she thinks that's how to impress people. And how do you feel about that? Those thoughts, I said. Whereas originally his thought or his feeling had been, nobody will like me ever. This time it was, I feel sorry for her. And also, it kind of doesn't matter what she says, because it's probably not even worth much. He went from being, literally, I had him mark it on a thing, 99% sure that his interpretation of the situation was absolutely true, and therefore his conclusions about himself were 100% true. And therefore, the behaviors that he went to afterwards, the naturally occurring behaviors, the I'm going to withdraw from everybody, or I'm going to just get so depressed I can't even do things, and constantly be telling myself I don't belong. From that to, actually, what happened to me happened to more people. I was more included than not. And also, I don't really feel bothered by her. I feel sad for her. He told me that. It changed just because I asked him to reconsider that there might be another possibility. I will tell you, I tried doing this for myself in a really, really tough moment this week. And I will tell you, there was a while where I'm crying. I'm like, there's no other explanation. That's not true. It's never true all the time. There's always something else, it could be, in my case, I was able to come up with, I think that, maybe XYZ could have happened that I had no control over. That would have really actually made a difference. Or I think that I should make sure to not participate in my own put down. I don't know, that's the dignity thing, where I think that maybe I haven't quite had a fair chance to speak. And when I thought those things, I felt still maybe sad, but at least not wholly responsible for the way everything was happening. And that therefore I was at least not entirely unwantable and lovable. Yeah. That I am not absolutely certain to sabotage everything. So what I'm asking you to do is, once you've got that hot topic, that event, Write down your thoughts. Remember, thoughts are not feelings. Feelings are I feel exhausted, I feel excited, I feel happy, frustrated, less than, other, special, cherished, wanted, confused, distressed, alarmed, frustrated, panicky, joyful, giddy. They're adjectives, okay? I feel like, I feel that. I think that I feel. Those are thoughts. Those are thoughts. Thoughts are valid. So, you give a present to someone and their reaction is not what you think. And so you don't feel that the person probably doesn't like it. You think that the person may not like it. And therefore you feel afraid that you've let them down. You feel sad that they don't appear to love it. You feel maybe any number of things. But isn't it possible that the expression you're seeing is that they couldn't imagine somebody would like them that much? Or that maybe they had gotten something similar and they cared so much about you, they weren't sure how to say that and still make sure that you knew that what you had done mattered. There's lots of other possibilities. And if that were the case, would you feel badly? No. I mean, the thought of if the fact is like, okay, maybe they've gotten something else, my thought would be, well, good. That means I had a good pick. Somebody else had the same idea. And my feeling would be, I feel appreciated. I feel special that this person wants so much to make sure that I don't feel sad. That's really kind. So it could be just the opposite. It's just so important that we, who may have a little extra challenge seeing other people's perspectives and see ours as not in an arrogant way, but just factually, the logical next steps or the logical interpretation of what's happening around us. It's not absolute though. And so for my young friend that I was talking about before, I said, so what if you were to take this back into school and the next time somebody's helping you with something, a project, you don't just think, see, I couldn't do it. It's easy for them. Therefore, I think I'm unable to do what everyone else can do. I feel stupid and unwelcome and unworthy and don't belong. Couldn't it be, you think, this must be hard. They may have practiced more, but this is probably hard for a lot of people. I feel flattered that someone would want to help me. I feel comfortable asking how they're doing it, not letting them do it for me. I feel capable of learning from them, and I feel glad that someone would want to be my friend and help. And the behavior afterwards would be really different. Like I said, if nothing else, the fact that he was even able to start realizing moments about that story with the video game that he hadn't until we started thinking about this, suddenly these flashes started coming through of fact. Look at that. There was even more to the situation than you were able to see because you were so stuck in what it had to be. There's great power in not only what we say to ourselves, but what we unsay to ourselves and what we allow to be and allow for as possibility. Go back and watch the episode on evil twins. It's important, kind of goes along here. So I'm going to ask you, go back to your hot topic, your hot event, write down what were your thoughts? What did you think in that moment? What are some other possible explanations for what happened other than what you think happened? What could other possibilities be? And if those were true, what would you feel? And if you felt that way, what might you do? Next week, we're going to talk more about uncovering and undoing the way we bully ourselves. Because you know what? There's no better way to leave your stamp on the world, even when you think your stamp is tired and worn out and you don't feel like stamping it anymore. Because Lord knows I have been there this week, friends. I promise. Even if I can only say it to you sometimes and maybe not back to myself, fine. You're here for a reason. You're here on purpose. And your do's and your feels and your thinks deserve to be on purpose and good too. So, thanks for talking to yourself last week and untalking to yourself this week. I'll see you next week on Speaking Geek. And definitely please get over to the website, Ask for Kids. Please grab yourself the books. It's just because you're going to get the most out of it, much more than you can even hear. So love you guys. I really, truly do. And I wish you a wonderful, wonderful week. If you're in the States, I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I hope you know that when I'm at the table this year, I am very, very much going to say thank you for all of you who listen, for even thinking I'm worthy of taking up a moment of your day. It truly, it baffles me. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you on episode 12. Bye.